Before I say another word, I want you to understand something. This world is not waiting for you. The clock is moving. The sun is rising whether you're ready or not. And in this life, you either wake up with purpose or you stay asleep in regret. Today is not just another morning. It's your call to arms. You've been lied to, told that rest is reward and comfort is a goal. But I came to tell you comfort is a thief. It steals your hunger, it robs you of discipline, and it quietly kills your destiny. While you're sleeping, someone else is training. While you're hitting snooze, someone else is building. And while you delay, your opportunity is slipping like sand through your fingers. This is not a motivational quote. This is warfare of the mind, and the battlefield is your routine. You want transformation, it starts in the silence of the morning. You want to change your life, then rise before the world does. Conquer the dawn, and you'll own the day, so don't just listen casually. Don't treat these words like background noise. Hear me like your future depends on it. Because it does. Stay with me until the last word. Let this message burn every excuse inside you. Because by the time I'm done speaking, you will never look at morning the same way again. Let me tell you something the world doesn't want you to know. Asterisk, asterisk, the ones who rule, who conquer, who shift nations and shake generations, are not the ones with more talent or better luck. They are the ones who have mastered the morning. Asterisk, asterisk, they rise when the world is still sleeping, not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because they understand something deep. Discipline is the gatekeeper of destiny. While the weak are buried in the softness of their beds, those who want more from life are already moving, already thinking, already sharpening their minds and preparing their steps. You want to change your life. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Asterisk, wake up and seize it before anyone else even opens their eyes. Asterisk, the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards action. And action begins when you break free from the comfort that tries to chain you. Do you think kings sleep in? Do you believe warriors build their strength by lying in softness while the enemy is planning their attack? No, the world is too brutal, too fast, too unforgiving for you to live like you've got time to waste. When you wake up late, you're already behind, not just behind on the clock, behind on your vision. Behind on your discipline, behind on your ability to control the direction of your day. You wake up late and life grabs you by the throat. You wake up early and you take life by the reins, and I know some of you hear this and say, but I'm tired, but I sleep late, but I'm not a morning person. You are not born for convenience. You are not made for comfort. You were not designed to merely survive. You were created to conquer. And conquering starts in the early hours when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one is coming to rescue you from your excuses. You want to live like a lion, then stop waking up like a lamb. This world belongs to the disciplined, not to the dreamers who never wake up, not to the lazy who keep waiting for motivation, but to the ones who fight their own weakness and rise anyway. Every time you ignore the voice telling you to sleep 5 more minutes, you are defeating the old version of you. Every time you get up, lace your shoes, and move when it's hard, you are not just winning the morning, you're training your soul for greatness. You see, the early hours have power. They carry a sacred silence, a stillness where you can actually hear your thoughts, feel your hunger, and see your path with clarity. It's in those hours that your mind is sharpest, your spirit is unpolluted by noise, and your heart is still focused. That's when the builders build, that's when the leaders think, that's when the foundation is laid. So why waste those hours in sleep when they could be the very time that rewrites your future? You say you want to lead, then start acting like one. Leaders don't wait for the world to push them, they rise before the world begins. They don't wait for circumstances to change, they create the shift. That shift starts when you discipline yourself to own the first hour of your day. If you can win that hour, you can win the war. Because the truth is, what you do when no one is watching will always determine what you become when everyone is watching. So stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop making peace with mediocrity. Stop acting like sleep is your savior when all it's doing is delaying your deliverance. Get up while it's dark and declare with your actions that you are not a prisoner to comfort. You are a commander of your time. That's how champions move. That's how legacies are built, in the quiet, consistent choice to rise when no one else will. I didn't come here to speak to the version of you that's satisfied. I came to speak to the warrior buried under years of excuses. I came to speak to the fighter who remembers what they were born to be. And if you truly want to meet that version of yourself, you won't find them in bed. You'll find them in the discipline of the dawn. So wake up early, not because it's popular, not because it's trending, not because someone told you to, but because deep inside, you know your future is waiting on the other side of that alarm clock. Get up and go take what belongs to you. Every sunrise is a reminder that you've been given another shot at war. Not war against the world, not war against others. War against the voice inside you that keeps telling you to take it easy. War against the part of you that wants to delay, wants to rest, wants to retreat. The morning isn't just a new beginning, it's a battlefield. A place where weakness either dies or takes control of your entire day. And if you don't fight in the first hour, you'll spend the next 23 living in defeat. People want change, but they don't want pain. They want growth, but they avoid discomfort. Let me tell you the truth, every time you hit that snooze button, you're not resting. You're surrendering. You're handing over your strength to weakness, your purpose to laziness, your momentum to fear. And what's worse, you're teaching your spirit to lose without even realizing it. You're practicing failure before the day even starts. You want to build a different life? You want to transform who you are? Then you must understand this. Your enemy isn't out there. Your real enemy lives inside, and that enemy is the voice that says, not today. That voice that says, 5 more minutes. That voice that whispers, you can do it later. No. Later is a lie. Comfort is a cage, and every single morning you are either breaking free or locking yourself deeper inside that prison. The reason so many stay stuck is because they underestimate how much power there is in the first battle of the day. The alarm goes off and the war begins, not against anyone else, but against your old habits, your excuses, your cravings. And if you don't fight with fire, if you don't rise like a soldier, then your whole day becomes a slow defeat, not because you couldn't win, but because you chose not to show up for the fight. Understand this, the strongest version of you is forged in resistance. You grow when you say no to your cravings. You rise when you push against your comfort. And the best time to train that fire inside you is not in the afternoon, not when the pressure forces you, but in the morning, when you choose discipline before anything else chooses you. When you get up while your body is screaming to sleep, you are telling your mind who's in charge. That is leadership. That is mastery. That is power. And I get it, it's not easy. But you were never meant to live easy. You were meant to live ready. You were meant to live disciplined. You were meant to wake up with war in your eyes and purpose in your steps. You were meant to say, not today, weakness. Not today, fear. I rise because I refuse to bow. That's how champions move. That's how history makers build their foundation, not with applause, not with support, but in silence, in sacrifice, in war against self. Every day you delay the fight, the enemy gets stronger. But every day you rise early and attack your own indiscipline, you weaken the voice of doubt and feed the voice of courage. You begin to build a rhythm of victory. You start collecting daily wins, and those wins compound, not just in your morning, but in your mindset, your body, your spirit, your future. You don't just rise early to check a box. You rise early to become someone you've never been before. You will never meet the higher version of yourself if you keep serving your lower one. And the lower version of you wants nothing more than comfort, sleep, ease, and safety. But the higher version, the one that builds, the one that leads, the one that inspires, that version is born when you stand in the pain and choose power. That version wakes up before the world and says, let's go. That version doesn't wait to feel ready. It moves even when it's tired. That version doesn't hope for change. It asterisk becomes asterisk change. So yes, every sunrise is a declaration of war. And you must decide, are you the soldier or are you the victim? Are you the hunter or the hunted? Will you attack the day or will the day swallow you whole? Because you don't get both. You don't get to stay soft and expect to rise. You don't get to sleep through the process and wake up in your purpose. You don't get to avoid the pain and inherit the power. You must rise early and fight early. Fight the voice that wants to delay. Fight the doubt that tells you you're not ready. Fight the comfort that keeps robbing you of greatness. And when you do, every morning becomes a ritual of fire, a ceremony of transformation, a sacred space where weakness dies and greatness is born. The day doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most disciplined, and discipline starts at dawn. Let me tell you something real. It's not enough to just wake up early. Anyone can open their eyes before the sun. But what separates the ones who rise from the ones who reign is asterisk, what they do asterisk with those hours. Waking up early means nothing if you step into your day with no structure, no intention, no fire. The morning is a weapon, but only if you sharpen it with discipline, only if you build routines that break your excuses and turn your pain into power. Most people want to win, but they live like they're waiting for something to push them. They think the world is going to hand them structure. No, you asterisk build asterisk that structure. You create systems that hold you when motivation fails, because let me be clear, motivation will fail. Emotion will lie, but a strong routine, a discipline so drilled into your bones that it becomes identity, that will carry you when nothing else can. The routine you build in the morning is not just about habits, it's about identity. You become what you repeatedly do, and every morning is a fresh opportunity to cast your vote for the kind of person you are choosing to be. Will you be the one who trains while others sleep? Will you be the one who reads while others scroll? Will you be the one who plans while others panic? That's the difference. That's the dividing line, not talent. Not resources, asterisk ritual. Asterisk start with one action, get up, make your bed, train your body, train your mind. Read, reflect, prepare. These small disciplines, they may look ordinary, but when you repeat them over and over, they begin to transform you. They build a rhythm of order. They train your nervous system to expect strength. They wire your brain to execute even when the feelings are gone. It's in those hours, those quiet, consistent movements, that your power is forged. You see, routine is not about being robotic. It's about being relentless. When chaos hits your life, when setbacks come, when the world throws storms at your plans, your routine becomes your anchor. It's the foundation that keeps you steady, because you know how to move even when it hurts. You know how to act even when you don't feel ready. That's what separates those who react from those who rule. I've seen too many people full of potential crumble when life hits them, not because they were weak, but because they never built a system to carry them when things got heavy. You cannot trust emotion. You cannot trust comfort. But you asterisk can asterisk trust discipline. You asterisk can asterisk trust the routine you've tested and proven in the fire of the morning. When everything else is falling apart, your routine says, we move anyway, and you know what else. That routine becomes contagious. It becomes culture. The people around you start to feel your structure. They start to move differently because you carry a different standard, and that's how you lead. That's how you create waves, not by shouting louder, but by living sharper. You don't need to announce yourself. Your discipline announces you before you enter the room. Your habits speak when your mouth is silent. The most dangerous person is the one who no longer needs to be told what to do. They've trained themselves. They've engineered their environment. They've built a system so tight that weakness can't slip through the cracks. That kind of person is unstoppable. That kind of person becomes a weapon in the hands of purpose. And the first battlefield where that weapon is forged is the morning. So don't just wake up, don't just be awake, asterisk be intentional. Asterisk build something with that time, protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. Build a routine so strong that you no longer have to convince yourself to show up. You show up because it's who you are. Show up because your future deserves nothing less. Show up because every time you do, you are taking another brick and laying it down on the road to your legacy. You don't have time to waste. You don't have days to throw away. You've got too much inside of you to be casual with your habits. Stop treating your mornings like they're disposable. Start treating them like they're divine. You were not made to drift. You were made to dominate. And domination begins with what you do when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when it's just you, your choices, and the clock. Your routine is your weapon. Sharpen it. Refuse to let another sunrise pass without putting it to work. The world will try to shake you, but when your routine is unshakable, so are you. There is a clarity that only exists in the early hours, a stillness that cannot be bought, replicated, or faked. When the world is silent, when the noise of distractions hasn't yet begun its war against your focus, that's when your spirit speaks the loudest. That's when your mind is most honest. That's when purpose becomes visible, not just as an idea, but as a roadmap. You wake up early, not just to get ahead of the world, but to get closer to yourself. So many people walk through life confused, overwhelmed, unsure of who they are and what they're called to do. But it's not because they lack intelligence. It's not because they lack passion. It's because they never make room for silence. They never meet themselves in the mirror of the morning. They never cut through the fog of daily chaos long enough to hear what their heart is screaming. That fog lifts when you rise before the distractions begin. When you wake before the world wakes, you unlock a version of you that is sharper, calmer, hungrier, and above all, aware. We're living in a time where everything is fighting for your attention, notifications, conversations. News, noise, and in that noise, your vision gets drowned out. But when you rise early, when you start your day on your terms, something happens. You remember who you are. You remember what matters. You align with your mission before the world tries to sell you another one. That's not a trend. That's a discipline. That's wisdom. Do you understand how powerful it is to wake up and not be reactive, but intentional? To rise and decide how your day will move instead of letting circumstances push you around like a leaf in the wind. That is what early rising gives you, asterisk command. Asterisk the ability to steer the day instead of being dragged by it. The mental clarity to make decisions before stress clouds your judgment. The space to prepare your mind before problems come knocking. When your mind is clear, your priorities become obvious. The noise of doubt disappears. You stop asking if you're good enough and start focusing on what you must do. In those sacred moments, before the world shouts its opinions at you, you hear truth, the truth that you are capable, that you are chosen, that you are powerful, and not because someone told you, but because you felt it in the silence, when it was just you, your breath, your vision, and your God-given purpose. But if you keep waking up late, keep rushing, keep reacting, your life will remain a blur. You will keep feeling behind. You will keep feeling like the day owns you instead of the other way around. That is not how leaders live. That is not how warriors prepare. Every morning you sleep through is a chance you missed to get clearer, stronger, more rooted in your calling. There are people who will never hear what their life is really supposed to be because they never turn down the volume. They wake up and immediately jump into chaos, and in doing so, they abandon themselves. They lose the battle before it even starts because their mind is scattered and their spirit is weary before the sun even touches the sky. But the ones who win, The ones who move nations, they start with clarity. They start by confronting the silence. They start with purpose. The morning is not just a time slot on a clock. It is a portal, a door, and only those with discipline walk through it. If you've ever felt lost, confused, or directionless, I challenge you, beat the sun, rise before the noise. Sit in the silence, breathe, reflect, align. This is where decisions are born. This is where strategies are built. This is where warriors sharpen their minds before they step onto the battlefield of the day. The problem is, we've been taught that mornings are just a rush, get dressed, get moving, chase the clock. No, mornings are for alignment, for vision, for focus. When you give the first hour of your day to chaos, you spend the rest of your day trying to recover from it. But when you give the first hour to clarity, the rest of your day submits to your leadership. Do not underestimate the power of a clear mind. It is more dangerous than a sword, more valuable than gold. With clarity, you can cut through lies, remove distractions, and build systems that move your life forward. With clarity, you don't chase things that don't belong to you. You walk boldly in what does, and that clarity is sharpened in the quiet of the early hours. So rise before the world rises, not just to do more, but to see more. To think clearly, to prepare strategically. Because when your mind is still, your purpose speaks, and when your purpose speaks, everything changes.